Hey guys, so people keep asking, hey yo, what's your thoughts on The Witcher and stuff? I want to see you review The Witcher, I want to see you review Watchmen and stuff like that, and like the occasional Twitter requests and comments and stuff like that. And I figured, yeah, sure, I finally got around to watching The Witcher, let's talk about this. But my schedule's kind of pretty stuffed. I've got my several videos per day, I've got all the audio processing to do on the Stephanie videos that takes extra time, I've got the very frequent multiplayer streams, and now a D&D session that pretty much takes up my Saturday. So a bit crowded. So I figured what can give, and it's like, well, I have my weekly Q&A recording for Patreon. So if I just didn't do that, I could just talk about media instead during that time, and then just kind of not do a Q&A that week. So I put the question to the Patreon people, and they seem to like that idea, generally speaking. So yeah, I guess that's the idea, and so that's what's happening. And so I've now done a 3-hour podcast on The Witcher, and that's going up today on Patreon. A few reasons for it to go up on Patreon. One, it's replacing the Q&A, so it's like it's to fit the perk essentially for those people and not shirk on that by essentially replacing with different content. But because it's a media review instead of a Patreon Q&A, the plan is to make it go public 1 week later. So if you don't want to go on Patreon or can't go on Patreon, then that's totally fine. You'll just get it a week from now. I'm already late anyway. It's not like this is like a release week Witcher review, so I'm not really in a hurry. But there's also other stuff though, like I would like to have a better recording setup for these kinds of things, because I'm just sitting at my computer at a webcam, which is not great for me on my own, but also it's not great when I'm with Stephanie or anyone else, and it's like we have to squeeze into one frame. So I'd like to get something closer to what we had before, with like an actual camera setup and stuff like we had when we're doing the Sit and Discuss podcast back in the day, maybe using this as like a backdrop. I kind of have like some stuff I could do, so I'd like to upgrade. So pushing people towards the Patreon helps fund hardware purchases like a camera and stage lights and stuff like that, because I'm talking about those kinds of augments to all this mess. There's also two other things. One, January is a bad month for income as a YouTuber, just in general. All the advertisers are like, oh god, finally Christmas is over, and then they just like, fuck January, am I right? So everybody on YouTube pretty much just stops making money for a month. If you ever wondered why some YouTubers that don't make daily videos like I do, but instead make like weekly or monthly videos, seem to have like, they seem to come up with excuses to make bonus videos during December, and they're like unusually active during December, but then they vanish for all of January. That's actually why. Boom, pulling behind the curtain, ratting on all of my fucking cohorts and shit. Yeah, that's actually why a lot of YouTubers vanish in January but are weirdly active in December, despite the fact that they should be less active in December, because December is when all their vacation stuff should be happening, because they should be busy, because they're in a chaotic, stressful part of their life where there's all these like plans and holidays and things that need to happen. They're weirdly more active because that December makes the highest ad revenue of the year and January makes very little. The other thing is that also, this happens every year, I lost a bunch of Patreon subscribers in December because people are like, I need to spend money on all these things, so time to get off of Patreon. So I lost about 100, which is, I think that's about what happened last year too, but you know, doing my due diligence to create reasons for people to go on the Patreon. But once again, this will be temporary, so this video will be available next week for free, or you can hop on Patreon and watch it now. And this will be some kind of reoccurring thing. I have no idea how often I'll be making these media reviews, because I need to like watch stuff in my free time and then get around to recording the video and so on. But like whenever I do that, it'll replace the Patreon Q&A of that week, and it'll be exclusive to Patreon for 1 week, and then it'll go up for everybody 1 week later. That's my current system. Hope I explained everything decently and all that. Also, I don't know the exact day yet, but those of you that want to be involved in nominating and voting for the Patreon games, Death Stranding is on its way out. We've already finished recording it. I have not finished editing it yet though, because it takes a while, so I don't know the exact day, but there'll be some kind of announcement at some point. But you just might want to be hopping on the Patreon for that reason too, if you're planning on being involved in the process of choosing what game happens after Death Stranding. Thanks, see you guys later.